here with our huge audience.
Okay, we're ready.
All right, we're going to call the meeting to order. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. Our first order of business is to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next, we will take up the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a commissioner or citizen so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda. All consent agenda items are commission action items unless otherwise noted.
Madam President, I would like to move that number 2, the Latigo Place Subdivision request for approval, be moved from the consent agenda to the regular agenda.
And as part of your motion, are you moving to approve the rest of the consent agenda?
Yes,
Okay,
without exception.
okay. Is there a second?
Yes, second.
All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, nay. Motion passes. So now we'll move to the regular agenda, and we now have one item on the regular agenda. It is the Latigo Place subdivision request for approval. And we'll begin with the staff presentation.
Madam President, Commissioners, for the record, Stacey Arrington, Development Services. I apologize, I don't have much of a staff or a presentation to give you, but a synopsis of this application is the Latigo Place is a 14-lot subdivision. It is located off of Boise Avenue, which is a collector street and is highlighted here in yellow. It is on the agenda tonight for a modification to the dimensional standards for the successive driveway and location policies. As you can see, there's not a lot of frontage for this property. It does not have access to a lesser classified street, and the driveway location. Let's see if I can get this. Oops. Will be located along the eastern property line adjacent to an existing driveway to the adjoining properties to the east. They are providing a cross access for future one access when those properties redevelop. Neither property owner is ready to take access at this time. They have been contacted or in contact with ACHD. And again, they do not have enough frontage or other dimensional standards to meet policy, and that is why it's on the agenda tonight.
So my issue, and the thing that flagged it for me, is in the past, we have a waiver of policy, which means we're setting that aside because of certain constraints, et cetera, for a specific project. This in the staff report said modification of policy. So modification means a change. And so my concern was, are we modifying our district policy? Are we going to have a discussion and vote on that? Are we modifying specific to this project? And I'm not quite comfortable with the term modification because that means we're changing it. You see what I'm saying?
I do understand what you're saying. It is not a waiver of policy where we would be saying we're not applying any policy here at all. This is to a modification, which we are saying it can't meet our full 330 feet. So we're saying we are going to allow it where it doesn't meet it, and that is the modification portion. And also, just of note, P&Z from Boise has acted on this and approved it, just so you're aware of that. We do this when a property doesn't have access any other way and can't meet the standards. So we do this a number of times. It is.
We're probably getting
Sorry.
down into the semantics. I'm just not comfortable
understand.
saying that we're modifying our policy because that indicates that we're changing. So is there another term that we can use?
Perhaps using exception, making an exception to the policy and modifying the distance requirement. That work?
Yeah.
Madam President, Commissioner May,
We use that term because that's what is used in our policy manual when we modify a dimensional standard. It is called a modification of policy in the policy manual. So that's why the term is used.
Madam President,
Commissioner Baker?
maybe it should be modification from policy. That indicates it's just a one-time thing, rather than an overall encompassing.
It is a specific to this application in this instance. That's the way it is phrased in the policy manual and the way we've used the term per the policy manual.
Because I know our decisions up here are guided by our policy, correct? And we have heard on more than one occasion that we need to follow district policy or we risk having litigation. So I don't know how to better explain it. So if this is consistent with what's in our policy, I haven't caught this before. I think we need to have a discussion on it. But I would be comfortable adding the word from in there, just something that shows that we're not actually modifying our policy. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So,
And it looks like our legal counsel is going to have a suggestion for us. Mr.
Madam
Spears?
President, for the record, Scott Spears, Assistant General Counsel. Yes, you could use the word from, modification from policy, and that would be fine.
Thank you. All right, do we have any further questions for staff?
are we
No.
ready for a motion?
Well, we could ask if anybody else would like to comment on this item. Seeing no volunteers, how about a motion?
Well, Madam President, I move we approve Latigo Place subdivision, a modification from policy based on the staff report.
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed, nay. Motion passes. All right, the final item on our agenda is public communications. Is there anyone who would like to address the commission this evening? Seeing no volunteers, meeting adjourned.